Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Bro Talk alongside my co host Berto. 95 North Falcons talk show. And a little bit of a different atmosphere today
Man.
because he is our boots on the ground for another episode of Reporting Eligible. Welcome. It's day one of training camp. Berto,
Oh man.
how are you feeling, man? Tell me.
Brother, I'm gassed, man. But what an atmosphere, what a day, man. Just overall, it was amazing from start to finish. The crowd was live, everybody was amped, everybody was lit. It was just amazing vibes throughout the whole day. Saw a lot of great things from our Falcons today, which I know we'll touch upon in a few minutes. We got to see him meet so many other content creators and so many other fans, man. People that watch the show. And to y'all, if you're watching right now. I sincerely appreciate the interactions with everybody. We appreciate you. There is no us without you. So thank you so much for investing your time and into the time and effort that we put into formalizing these shows. So to y'all, salute. We thank you, man.
Yes, thank you to each and every one of you. The chat's already active.
Let's
Guys,
go.
welcome in. We got Sprank, we got Philip, we got Rise Up Dirty Birds, Mama Torres.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mom's in the cut
Mama's
always.
here.
Yeah.
Justin Swisher, the Dre TL. Um, you know, thank you guys. And we made it, man. My timeline was flooded with Falcons feed today. Not being able I put up the meme, the Squidward looking out the window, watching everyone have a good time. That's exactly what I was on Twitter watching all this. But it was really fun to finally see our Falcons hit the field. I know we're not in pads just yet, but we actually got
Hmm.
to see some team activities, team, individual drills, and Berto before the show had a conversation with a Falcons player that he got an opportunity to
Yeah.
just have a quick short conversation. But Berto, before we
Yes.
go offense, defense,
Hmm.
individual players, um, what stood out to you? Because we didn't get to go to camp, but you've been to camp before.
Right.
What could you say is different that you think for this camp to maybe the prior one that you were at?
I think the overall energy, just like the overall camaraderie that these guys are showing just off of day one. I mean, I know that they had a lot of behind the scenes, off-season workouts and OTAs and things like that. But just to see it, just right before your eyes in camp was awesome to see. Like you see the young guys leaning on the vets and vice versa. Like the vets leaning in and teaching certain things to the rooks that are coming in or the second year guys. Like, hey, you may not want to do this. You may want to look at this here. So that's what I love. That's what I saw was a lot of that unity, that togetherness in this Falcons defense. And let's remind the folks, it's a young Falcons defense. It's a young Falcons club overall, and we have some good we have some good vets sprinkled in important areas. But highlighting one area specific, the defense. That defense was flying around today, man, flying around today. But I know you got some questions for that, and I'll let you go on that, man.
Well, shout out to Carrie. I feel the same way. My co-host is famous. We all know someone famous
Man,
in Berto.
yeah,
Um, but talking about the
doing my part,
defense,
man. Hmm.
talking about the defense, right off the bat, who stood
Hmm.
out the most? And it could be someone, I don't care if you say Caden Ellis, but who out of the bunch, and you can give me a
Hmm.
couple players if you want, who
Hmm.
stood out and just popped, and you were like, oh my gosh, look at this guy move.
There was four guys that stood out to me, right?
Okay.
And I'll start in the interior. Morgan Fox stood out big time,
Really?
and he's part of that starting alignment, or so to say. From the beginning, he looks like he's going to get a lot of playing time early on. Rook look outstanding, fluid, moving up and down the line. They used him in a variety of ways. He did. I believe I saw him kick into the three technique all the way to like the four and the five. So there's different packages that you're going to see alongside Morgan Fox and Rook. Zach Harrison, sign me up. I think Zach Harrison will arrive this year in this Falcons
Please.
uniform, and they were experimenting a lot. We saw a lot. One thing that had me like going bananas, man, was when they lined up Zach as the five technique, but
Hmm.
just on his outside shoulder, they had Leonard Floyd. and then they came back and they had Arnold
Oof.
Ebiketie. So
Ooh.
they're giving you different looks on how they're gonna create pressure this year. Some would call it a NASCAR package, which is safe to say, but just like how you see it on field, this defense is gonna get after it. Like just in the early setting, I understand what they mean by attack because this defense did exactly that. So that's three guys, and my fourth one. Give me Billy Bowman. Attitude
Ooh.
at the nickel. Attitude at
Ooh.
the nickel, man. He was all over the field, very fiery. Really in your face, especially early on. We saw him, contest a couple times some balls with him and Darnell Mooney and whatnot early on. But yeah, I think Billy Bowman also stood out, today. That's just defense. There's one guy that we have to talk offensively, but we'll get there when
We
you're
will.
ready.
We will get there when we hit the offensive side of the ball. So you
Absolutely.
you talk about the defensive fronts, right?
hmm
My question right off the bat, when you say Zach Harrison was in the five, and then you had Leonard Floyd or
hmm
AK on the outside, was this in a nickel package, or was this in like a base defense, or like
This
was
was
this passing?
base.
This was in a base, okay. So
That's what it looked like for me. So so I can tell the viewers too. So I could be mistaken just a little bit because really my view, I was like eye level with everything. So I saw the backs and the helmets. So the alignments I could mistaken. But that's what it looked like to me. Just right off base. So yeah. I didn't get that bird's eye perspective
sure.
like a lot of other people did. So I was like in the weeds, like right there. So that's what it looked like to me. It looks like it's going to be a very active, in your face defensive style front or attack style front for the
So
Falcons.
so it was noticeable that they were trying to get up the field every single play.
Every single play. You know what may be making a comeback in Atlanta? The stunts by these defensive linemen, which it was
Really.
sorely missed. I saw on one play where Brandon Dorless came in scot-free on a stunt, and I'm like, Lord Jesus, he's gonna knock somebody's helmet off, man. It
And
was great
and
to
it,
see.
and real quick, Carrie says, "Did you see the photo of your son on Facebook? A close-up photo on Facebook of your son that the
Actually,
Falcons posted."
yes. Shout out Lisa Shepherd. She did send me that one. That one was meant to. Lisa sent it to me. It was meant for me. I was cut off, but I was like, well, it highlighted my son. He was right there, front and center, man.
And then shout out to Big
Oh
Country with the
yeah.
super chat. After chilling out with Berto today, I could truly say Berto is my brother. We enjoyed it, fam. And sweet potato pie is better than pumpkin pie. You know what? I take back everything I said about Big Country. Big Low, get out. There's a saying we
Oh man.
say, and when you're from Mexico or speak Spanish, fuera,
Fuera,
fuera, fuera,
fuera.
fuera.
Oh man.
Oh
It, wa-
man, and then the chat's getting real active. Jones Bones, impeccable
hey Jones,
timing.
what's going on?
I logged on as soon as you guys are talking about the treasures. Listen, we've been over this.
Hi man,
When you
unbelievable.
when you want to summon Jones Bones, you turn off the lights and you say D line, O line, and Jones
hmm
Bones magically appears.
So
We know it,
uh,
Bones.
on the O line, one interesting thing that I did see was
Mhm.
not so much a revolving door, but the Falcons trying Storm Norton, Brandon Parker, Caleb McGarry at that right tackle spot.
So that
Caleb, of course, he was running with the ones, but
okay.
he wasn't in on most of the plays. They were, trotting out Storm, and then they were looking at Brandon Parker as well. So that was an interesting little twist there.
Do we think it was injury related? And we'll go back to the defense, but I'm curious to what
Yeah.
you think. Do you think it was injury related? Because from what I saw, Joe Patrick report is
Yep.
Caleb didn't participate in OTAs because he was dealing with bone spurs in his ankle, and he got that all cleared up. Do you
hmm
think that has something to do, or do you really think that we could trot out Storm Norton or someone else besides Caleb McGarry at right tackle?
No. I think we can kill that narrative. I think it's Caleb's job to lose. I think they're just,
Hmm,
putting him out there, letting him work out, some of the rust. Yeah, as you mentioned, he wasn't active in OTAs. So I think there was just them trying to get his feet under him and put him out there, see what he got. But overall, he moved very well.
gotcha. And then Uncle Steve with the super chat. Please share the
Love you,
selfie
Unc. I love you,
from
Unc.
training camp with special teams ace Felipe Franks. This fans
Oh man.
wants to see it.
Yeah, so sadly, no Felipe Frank. trotting out to the fans or taking pictures or anything like that. He wasn't available to the media. So yeah, that's all I can say to that. I'm happy in a way. I'm happy in a way that Felipe didn't make his way over to us because and
You know,
Big Low can attest to this. There was one Falcons attendant that announced that he moved from Philly, so we immediately sent him packing to the left. That's what we would have done to Felipe. No Felipe, he love over
Fuera.
here.
Fuera. You know
Fuera.
what? You know what? I'll touch on the Felipe thing here in a minute. He really does. He does have a chance to make the roster solely because of his special teams ability. I'll just leave it at that. Uncle
Yeah.
Steve, simmer down. We're talking defense. Now, going back to the defense, talk to me about our two first rounders, James Pierce Jr., who looks
Oh,
phenomenal in the black 27. And I didn't see a lot of Jalen Walker. Talk to me about that. What did you see from them today?
so they ran mostly with the twos. So in the starting formations, we saw a lot of Leonard Floyd. We saw a lot of Arnold Ebiketie on the outside. We did see a little of Braylon Trice, who a lot of us, were worried, is he going to start on
Mhm.
PUP? But he's a full go, and he looked
Nice.
fluid. He looked good. Obviously he's working himself back from that torn ACL. So we have to give him time. So to a lot of fans, we may have to just temper our expectations. But nonetheless, it was great seeing him out there. Now to the Rooks, they ran with the second team, right? And but they did get some run with with the ones too. They were flipped in and out, but speed and physicality is what these guys bring, especially Jalen. Jalen is just a different animal, man. And he's out there, cut sleeves, no gloves. And he's just ready to go, man.
He's
Lined him up on
still
the
no glove.
outside. Yeah,
You
still
you
no
think he's
glove.
going to go into the season with no gloves? No way, right? He didn't play like that in Georgia, did
And
he?
I don't think he did. No, he
I
played
don't
with gloves.
remember.
So this for camp today, he had no gloves, but the physicality and the speed from these two guys, it's there and it was very present. I seen a little bit of Jalen lined up in the middle of the defense, but more so on the outside as an OLB. So that's nice to see and nice to know that they are trying him out in other positions, just rather than one. Caden was spectacular. He was there, just Caden of old. Divine Diablo, man.
Yeah, I was going to ask about him. How did he look?
It has the Jets sideline to sideline. That's what you're gonna appreciate the most in his drop down and his coverage ability. I don't think he's gonna be a liability like most people may think to be. I think it was just maybe some kinks within the Raiders formations or their defensive scheme. I think Ulbrich has his version of Sherwood with Divine
Mm,
Diablo. Sherwood, who was
mm.
heavily linked to the Falcons in free agency with the Jets. I think he found him with Sherwood. Excuse me, with Diablo. Diablo was moving around very fluid in the middle of that defense. So it was awesome. It was awesome to see how these guys were moving. James Pierce Jr. Just a menace off the side, just pure speed, man.
And
Just
I
pure
saw
speed.
he came up to y'all, right, in your
He
section to take a
did.
selfie.
Yes,
That's
yes, yes.
so
Yo,
dope, dude.
yeah,
What is he as big as like the media makes him out to be?
even bigger, man. The dude's larger than life, man. Amazing. And humble young man. He came to us, took pictures, signed a bunch of autographs. So, that little thing that's out there, character issues, I don't think that exists, man. I think that's just noise, outside noise. But yeah, he came right to us, man, and signed autographs, took pictures, and yeah, man, it was great to see him out there, man. But yeah, just he's oh man, he's
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 huge.
huge. He's
I am
huge, man.
very inclined to purchase a number 27 jersey, maybe in the middle of the season, but it looks good in black and red and white. Money Man, thank you for your super
Thank
chat,
you, money
bro.
man. Appreciate
Rise
you, bro.
up,
Yes, sir.
absolutely. And then Big Low also says that Billy Bowman looked the best out of the rookies, kind of tying
Yeah.
into what you said. Xavier Watts, talk
Yes.
to me. I saw your tweet saying Jordan
Yes.
Fuller was running with the ones opposite Jesse Bates,
He
but a lot of
was.
people, including ourselves, thought Xavier
Hmm.
Watts could get the start at the start of the season. Tell me what you
Yep.
saw from him.
So what I saw, yeah, again, like you mentioned, Jordan Fuller, right off the rip, start of the defense alignments, he was running with the ones, but Xavier was substituted in, and then we saw that. I want to say that I saw a three safety look in in some instances.
Oh,
So I'm like, oh man, I just really couldn't verify that, but it looked at one point that we had a Jesse, Jordan, and Xavier combo out there where it looked like Xavier could have been that robber in that, because as the two guys were, in their formation, he was that move around chess piece for the secondary.
like
So
the
like that,
apex or the star or whatever,
yeah,
whatever your
man.
defensive coordinator calls it. Nice.
Yeah,
I mean, that
different
would be
looks.
fun, right? Because he's such a ball hawk, and to have him free flow, that's kind of what Jalen Ramsey did for Raheem in
Yep.
LA, and that's where we really saw that, Jalen's an elite player, but we saw
Yeah.
him skyrocket even more. So we've heard the good on the defense. Tell me
Hmm.
some players that you were like, oh man, I don't think this cat's going to make it, through camp. I think, we saw Kevin King, who we thought might be
Yeah.
making the roster because we saw good things, especially in the run game. He was cut today. Kobe
Hmm.
Bryant and Lakel London and then Malik Vernon on the
Hmm.
NFI. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's the non-football injury list. Kind of like camp injury reserved almost,
Yeah.
kind of sidelining them. Tell me who you think that you saw on day one that you're like, man, I don't know if this guy's gonna make the roster.
So let me, if you don't mind, before I go to Gavino, my guy Gavino from Bleach Report, he has a quick question. How the secondary look, Berto? Who's CB number two? So let me just answer that one right quick. So it
Yeah,
was
for
Mike
sure.
Hughes, and Mike Hughes looked fantastic out there. Mike Hughes
Yeah.
was on a one-on-one play with Darnell Mooney, and he climbed the ladder, man, and he deflected that ball. The ref, there was a simulated ref there. He threw a flag,
Oh yeah, I
but
read that a lot of people thought it was just really good coverage and it was a ticky tacky call.
it was a ticky-tacky call. That was textbook coverage by Mike Hughes on that one. So back to your question, how you saying, oh, what player might have been the liability, let's just call it. And I think Make Way Sports sums it up right there. D. Alford, I think, looked like
Mm,
with the weakest link on this Falcons in day one. Obviously, we all know he has the heart, right?
yeah.
But what hurts him, obviously, is the size and the physicality that he brings at that nickel spot. That's where they lean towards Bowman more, because he brings
Mm,
he brings that package. So the physicality, the want, the aggression, it's all there. That's what Billy Bowman is. I saw too many plays where the Alfred was in run fits or responsibilities to his side would just get completely washed. And for his size, you going up against these bigger tight ends, these
uh,
swing tackles, offensive linemen that kick out, it's a done deal. So right now, if there is a liability, it's for me, it's D Alfred, man.
Phew, which we already talked about. Like we were surprised he got re-signed, but we
Mhm.
knew it was a camp battle guy. He probably wasn't going to make the roster unless he just completely blew them out of the water in camp.
Yeah.
And from what you saw in day one, it just doesn't look good unless he's able to really turn it around.
Hmm.
Bones has a question for you.
Got him.
How much five-man fronts versus four-man fronts did Berto see on the D line? So how many times did you see the penny look?
The
Would you
penny look,
say, or
uh,
four-man?
yeah, I saw more four man than I did see five early on. And if I can make an educated guess, I think they're just working to see what they have with the interior alignment first before they start venturing into, okay, let's add another one with the package of four that we have trotting out right now. Before they add somebody else, they're experimenting more with the four right now. At least that's what I saw. So on Saturday I have another practice to attend, so I'm gonna try to mingle as much as I can, but I want to hit the top because I want to see
Get
it,
that eagle's eye view.
get that eagle's eye view and
You
stuff like
mean
that.
Falcon's eye view? What am I talking about?
Boo this man.
Ah, boo! I wish I had a button that I could go
Oh
boo.
man. But yeah, man. Yeah, so that's the plan for Saturday. And it's gonna be packed, it's gonna be lit. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Hey, my bad. That was
You're
just
good.
a freak thing. Don't worry, the boo button will come eventually as this show
Absolutely.
grows. We'll
Heck
have some
yeah.
funny bits for you guys, but I think you gave us a lot of good stuff on the defense. Now a lot of people they've been asking about the
Yes,
offense and the
yes.
man that you tweeted out a lot about. I was surprised,
Yes.
and a lot of people were like, "Are we going to do it again? Are we doing it
Yeah.
again this season?"
Yes.
Kyle Pitts, talk to
Man.
me. Talk to me about Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, look, and I mentioned this in the tweet. That was Florida Gator Kyle Pitts that I saw today on that field. In terms of how he was moved in that offense, he was by far the most motion player on offense, more than Drake London, more than even Bijan in certain sets. So Kyle Pitts really looked amazing today. Sure, it's just shorts, no pads and nothing like that. But him coming off this foot injury, I loved what I saw, and that
Hmm.
was speed. A couple times, a couple little outs, screen passes. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they lined him up on the outside as the X in some looks. They had him lining up in the X and actually shift into the big slot or in his natural tight end position and
In
have
line.
giving him
Okay.
some route, yeah, giving him some of those over routes that he has the speed to beat these linebackers and these safeties with. But Kyle Pitts today, man, by far the biggest winner. In this Falcons training camp on the offensive side, he looked phenomenal today, man.
Hey,
Um, they did pull him, but what do we know about these Falcons tight ends in this offense? You got to learn how to block. And he went off to the side with Kyle Kroger and he did some blocking assignments. We
he hit
did
the
see
sled a
some
little bit.
catches. He hit the slide. We did see Charlie Warner, pick up some of the yardage and stuff like that, some of the routes. That's not to say that Charlie Warner's all of a sudden got involved into a pass
Yeah,
catching tight end,
right.
but it was awesome. It was awesome to see, man.
Awesome. Kyle Pitts lovers love to hear this. A lot of Kyle Pitts
Mm.
stands. I myself have been on the seesaw, so it's great to see it. I want to see more. I want to see it with the pads, so we'll go from there. Berto showing
Oh
some
man. I know exactly who that is, man.
Rico
What's
from
going on?
Buffalo Fanatics showing you some love. See you week 6. Yes, sir, we shall. And the narrative by week 6 is the Falcons can challenge the Bills. Just saying.
Absolutely. Looking
Um,
forward to him, man.
Real
Looking
quick, a
forward to
couple
that.
things in the chat. We'll touch on the Christian Wilkins situation towards the end. Let's get through training camp. And then,
Mm.
real quick, going back to defense, tell the people, where was Clark Phillips?
Unfortunately, Clark was with the threes, man. He was on the opposite side of the field for a lot of the time. A lot of what I saw. Yeah, so he was with the Micah Abernathy's of the worlds and guys that were actually trying to fight to make the roster type stuff. That's where he was at.
And we talked about this on one of our previous shows on who could be on the roster bubble.
Hmm.
And I think it was you that brought him up. And
I
and
did. Yeah.
Clark Phillips, we've been Clark Phillips fans because he is a technician at the position, but we've always said it's his size that's really
Hmm.
hindered him, unfortunately, and it's not looking good for him. Kerry wants to know, are you going to be there Sunday?
No, unfortunately, I'll be heading back home on Sunday. Saturday will be my last one.
Awesome, awesome. And then going back to the offense, we touched on Kyle Pitts. He's the hot name. But another
Hmm.
name people want to know about. Have you heard anything about Darnell Mooney? Because I heard he was on fire with Penix, and then he went to go get a catch, hit the ground a little hard, couldn't survive the ground, and then after that, that was kind of it for him. Have you heard anything
Yeah,
about him?
haven't heard anything. That was just precautionary. That was the play where him and Mike Hughes were involved. That's where Mike Hughes
Oh, okay.
climbed the ladder on that play. And yes, he did come up a little bit slow. But before then, you can see there's a connection. There's a good, real connection there with Mooney and Penix. Penix, favored him a lot, looked for him a lot. That's even with Draco on the field. So I would expect big things from this combination going forward. We already know what we're gonna get, I feel, with Drake and Penix. But establishing Mooney in this offense a little bit more gives us a even more dangerous 1-2 punch. And especially for a guy like Penix who can get the ball down the field and accurately, it's just a bonus for this Falcons offense.
So before we touch on the new guy calling the
Mm,
huddle, calling the plays in the huddle, I want to touch on the other wide receiver. I didn't hear a whole lot other than a couple videos of warm up. Drake
mhm.
London,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just
he was.
quiet, just a quiet day in the office, or what?
Yeah, and a lot of the plays that him and Mooney were on the field, he was the motion receiver.
Okay,
I think they used him more as probably just decoy for now, just taking it easy on him. There's no real reason or cause for concern with Drake London early on. He's going to be involved a lot. He's
yeah.
going to get fed.
And Eric in the chat says it was his birthday, so they gave him kind of an easy day.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true too. That's right. Today
I
was
didn't know
Drake
that.
London's
Shout out
birthday.
Drake. Shares a birthday with my mom, so shout out to you.
Awesome
Happy
shit.
birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Um,
Happy birthday.
um, But going to the quarterback, because we know the running back situation, right? We know Bijan, he's a highlight reel. I saw. Okay, tell me what do you got for
I
me,
got something
Bijan?
for you.
Bijan,
Oh,
talk to me.
Bijan inside zone is alive and well. Like I posted earlier, we saw a lot of inside zone today, and the crowd was feeling it. Myself and Big Low, we were there, and we were looking at, them. They're going inside a lot. I like this. I like this. So that looked great. Carlos Washington was a spark plug today for the Falcons, man.
Really?
I think he out touched Tyler today in terms of
Dun,
carries,
dun,
man. Um,
dun!
I don't want to start it, but I'm just giving you the observation that Tyler Algier was on the field. He did get his touches. I think more so the reason why was I think Kyle. I mean, I'm sorry. I think Algier pulled something or came up lame
Who did?
on one
Tyler?
Tyler Algier.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
that's why Carlos was getting some burn. But brother, when he got his opportunity, boy, did he make the best of it. Man, he ripped off some big runs, and he did some inside zone concepts too. And he looked fluid. He looked really good, man. So. I, yeah, I don't think we make anything from it, but just gotta highlight him because Carlos Washington has been a guy who's been sticking on the roster year in and year out for
Yeah,
Atlanta.
we see him a lot in the preseason, and then he sticks on the practice squad. And with the release of Jace McClellan,
Hmm.
we need a third running back. Whoever,
Hmm.
if he's a returner or just a third guy, special teams guy is yeah. I mean, that's great to hear because I like Carlos Washington. Um,
Yeah,
Berto or
yeah.
Bones has a
Bones.
question.
Okay,
He wants to know if you saw any offensive linemen pull today.
not yet. I'm wait.
It's
I'm
only day one.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. There was one play in particular. It looked like Kyle Hinton was doing that, but no, it was just that he got blown off his stance.
Oh no.
So I was like, oh man. But yeah,
No.
yeah.
Okay. All
Sorry.
right. So they're easing their way in. Inside zone was Bijan's bread and butter when he was at Texas. We saw a
Hmm.
little bit with Arthur Smith, but Dwayne Ledford. Maybe he's been hearing us, myself, Bones, and other creators asking for more inside zone and
Hmm.
some more gap schemes. So hopefully that you get to see that on Saturday when you're there. Michael Penix Jr. The new QB1, his first day as the starter at training camp.
Hmm.
Talk to me. Talk to me. What'd you see? What'd you like? And what maybe were you kind of like, oh, he still needs to work on that?
Well, we'll touch on what he needs to still work on, and I think it's those short intermediate passes. I think that he gets a little too excited sometimes, which can cause him for erratic throws. Oh man, he had a beautiful play on a route design or route concept with Ray McLeod, and
Mhm.
he sailed him. And really, there was yards aplenty, man. If Ray would have made the catch, so I would say it's just that at the moment. But other than that, just composure was great. He looked real settled in the pocket. He knows the place. He knows where people are supposed to be. I
Mhm.
even saw him like I think he directed Ray, as a matter of fact, on one play where he lined up in the wrong spot, and he's telling him, "Nope, nope, you're over here." And that's what you want to see, right? That type of leadership, that maturity already from our year two quarterback. But yeah, I think he commanded the huddle pretty good today, man. Really do.
So you're saying he still needs to work on the technicality aspect,
A
his footwork, maybe just a little more touch on the ball, maybe not trying to
little more
rifle,
touch.
not
Yeah.
doesn't learning that he doesn't have to rifle every throw.
Yeah, right. I think that's accurate to say, yes.
Hmm. It'll be interesting to see how he progresses as camp goes along, and especially when the pads come on, how that's going to progress. Because, like Raheem said today in the presser, is expect preseason to go the way it did last year. You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
see the starters. Are you going to see Kirk Cousins? Maybe, but
Mm.
you know, don't expect the starters. So that kind of kind of gives you that antsy feeling. Like, are we really going to take 2 weeks to get a groove on it? But the good thing, in my opinion, is the continuity that's returning.
Yeah.
Right. I think the only
Yeah.
person that changed was the center, which
The
leads
center.
me to Ryan Newziel. How did he look in
Yeah.
day one as the starter?
He looked good. No ball sailing over the quarterback's head or anything like that. I mean, and that's no dig really at Drew Dolman, but it was a real thing. But no, he looked good. held up in his blocks well. I've seen him, if I'm not mistaken, go a little bit at it with Rook and Brandon Dorless.
Like get in
You
their
know,
face?
well, not that, well, just because due to the assignment, right? Who was lined up over him or
Mm,
on his outside shoulder, he drew that assignment, obviously. So I think he held up pretty well with both of those guys. We didn't see a lot of David Onyemata. I didn't see him at least, but
interesting.
yeah. So those guys, particularly Dorless and Rook, got a lot of attention early on in camp.
Wow, just that's great to hear.
Yep.
That was a big question mark heading to the off season. So to hear that he held up pretty well, did his assignment really well, nothing sailed over Penix's head. That's
Mm,
always a question mark with a new center. But
always.
we, Dahlman had that issue, and yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't a dig at him, but every once in a while there was one that was sailing over the head, or it was too low, or just off to the left or the right. But
Yeah.
shout out Damsky in the chat.
Brother Dansky in the chat.
Opening
What's going
day,
on, man?
opening camp day. It is. It is. I'm going to open this up to you. Is there
Mm,
something we haven't touched on yet that you would like to share with people? Maybe it was a conversation with a player, something that you saw that you liked or didn't like, as far as like plays, schemes. You could talk about Troy Anderson, right? He got announced today. He's going to start on the pup list.
hmm
Talk to me. What's something that the people may not have seen on
hmm
Twitter that you
hmm
foresaw, that you saw?
So, I'll leave. I'll tell you with this one right here. D'Angelo Malone, right? It's a guy that we've been waiting for. Is there talent there? Is there something to work with there? And I think there is, man. So exclusively he's working with the middle linebackers, and with the problems that we have currently at that position with Troy Anderson being on the PUP, Malik Verdon not being active. He's a safety converting to a linebacker. I think this just opens a possibility for D'Angelo Malone to actually make the roster. And he looked good, man. When he was in
Really?
there, he had some run with the twos, and he looked fantastic, man. And I keep using the word fluid. Of course, it's going to show when you don't have pads and and things of that nature. But the way he moved, I don't think that he'll be a liability. I know that last year in that Washington game,
Okay.
that's the call. I think he's cleaned up his act on that. I think he's
And
learned.
why do you think that?
I, so there was a play specifically that was coming directly at him, and I think his assignment was to I think it was Carlos Washington. I think it was his responsibility to shadow Carlos as that route that was coming his way. And I just feel like for a moment he had like he thought about, okay, I can't go too deep, and he passed it. He passed that
Mm,
coverage along. So I'm like, I like that because what was the problem last year? He was back too deep and he made a bonehead play, right? So he wasn't on with his communication or anything like that. So I think that Malone may surprise people in this camp.
don't be shy. Berto actually got to talk to Malone after practice.
I
Uh,
did.
Malone ended up coming back,
Yeah.
and Berto got to just chat it up. Tell the
Yeah.
people what you guys talked about.
Yeah, his opportunity now at the middle linebacker spot. That's a position he feels he can make an impact in. He is learning it. He understands that there is opportunity there, and just giving him just a vote of confidence and telling him like, listen, man, you have the ability. It's on you, right? And he understands that. So talking to D'Angelo Malone, man, I think he's amped about this position switch and he's gonna make the best of it. I think he will. I think he will, man. He might surprise some people.
And so you're saying that because of the switch Malone had, you
Hmm
have Divine Diablo, you have Josh Woods, who's a special teams guy who can
hmm
provide depth.
hmm
Could we actually see Troy Anderson not be on this team on the final 53?
There's a possibility. I think, man, what your best ability is availability, right? And it just hasn't been that for him. The start on PUP this year, man. It's just a detriment to him.
It
You're a
just
guy that's fighting for snaps. You're fighting for now possibly a spot when you got younger guys gunning for your position, man.
it just makes me wonder, like, is because I didn't see what the injury was. Did you? Like, what specifically was keep putting him on the PUP list? Now, Raheem did say he could come back quick and healthy,
hmm
but you're
hmm
starting off on that list, right? You said
Yeah,
that you saw him just off to the
he was on the
side.
side.
He was on the side. Was he working with trainers or just
Yeah,
coaching? Like, what was he doing?
trainers. He was working with trainers on the sideline. Yep.
It's just a shame because we talk about this all the time. We'll talk about it again. We see the potential. We
hmm
see what can happen if he's healthy because he's
hmm
figuring out the position
hmm
and just not being able to stay on the field. It's just terrible because
It
people
is.
always bring it up. We drafted Troy Anderson when we could have had N'Kobe Dean or, someone else, right?
hmm
I mean, this is just kind of those weird things. And
Excuse me.
it'll be interesting to see him come back if he does make the roster, what he does look like.
Yeah.
One other guy that nobody said anything about, it's our 7th-round draft pick. Where was he? Jack Nelson.
Jack Nelson was out there. Yeah.
Where was he? Well, how
He
talk
was with the twos and the threes is where I noticed him. The revolving, door at the right tackle position was a center of focus for me. Brandon Parker, Caleb McGarry, Storm Norton, and Jack Nelson. Was a guy that we thought came into this training camp thinking it's a guy that could possibly push Caleb. If he learns the playbook and he gets it under him. But I didn't really see too much from him. He only with the twos and the threes. He didn't get any run with the ones or anything like that. But he was on the field though. He definitely was over there.
it'll be interesting to see because isn't Caleb on a contract year?
Caleb is on a contract, yeah.
And I don't know if you saw his interview today, post game. It was like an 8-minute interview. They asked him how different it was to have a left-handed quarterback and how he's the blindside blocker. And he kind of
Mm,
shrugged it off and said, at some point I will be, but so will Jake based off how Penix turns his back. So
mm,
he said, in today's offenses, there's not really a blindside tackle. It's a left and a right. So he says he doesn't have any concerns during team practice. Did you feel any type of concern or anything? I know there's no pads, right? We talk about it. It's just
yeah.
helmets. But did you see him hold up pretty well?
I saw I saw Leonard Floyd on Penix's ass. I'll tell you that. And that was right on Jake's side. So
And that's the front side, right? That's supposed to be the
that's the
front
front
side.
side. That's supposed to
And
be
so
the
you're
front
saying
side.
Jake got beat quick.
Yeah.
And he's our
Pure
pass
speed.
protector.
Sure is. Yep.
That says more about Floyd than Jake, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I 100% honest. Yep. That I wasn't seeing too much from the right side. That the rushes came primarily on the left side.
Damn, they're picking on Jake, the old man of the line. They're picking
Yeah.
on him.
So they use the right side, with Parker and Storm and McGarry from time to time, more as the run side.
Hmm.
That's what I saw a lot of.
So that'll be interesting. You can't get
hmm
one-dimensional and only be a one-sided run team because, sure, your right side is your stronger run blockers, right? Chris Lindstrom,
hmm
Caleb
hmm
McGarry, and your left side per se is your better pass protectors, right? Bergeron, Matthews,
Matthews,
right?
yeah.
You can't. I know they won't, but it's kind of like I shouldn't get ahead of myself. It's day one of camp, right? It's day one of camp. Um, but that kind of touches on the offense. I want to open up to this that we were
Mm,
kind of shocked when this happened. Christian Wilkins was cut. He was released from the Raiders. Now he had a
crazy.
lot. He had just signed a 4-year, $110 million deal last year. Played
hmm
6 games before hitting the IR because of a foot injury. Now, the Raiders released a statement saying there was a disagreement on how his rehab should go. The Raiders wanted him to do it one way. He wanted to do it another. And
mm.
Kerry asks, much like some of the others in the chat, what do you think? Should we sign Christian Wilkins? Because he's going to get a lot of guaranteed money from the Raiders. So it's not
From
like
the Raiders.
we don't
hmm
have to sign him to a big contract. But do you think he's worth signing? I know my answer, but tell me yours.
Um, hmm. It's all on that foot and how it's healed. I would be buyer beware, but also at the same time, this is a guy that's a what's going on, Grum? This is a guy that's a proven Pro Bowl player in the league and perennial Pro Bowler at that. And if you can sign him for cheap and stash him, have him activated after week 6, that's just a bonus for this Falcons defense. So in short, yeah, I'd take a swing at signing him. Why not? Yeah.
Me? No. Do not bring him near our team. He's a character. He's got his own personality, and that's fine. I
Mm,
just don't think it fits what we're trying to build. We've seen Christian. He's very outgoing. He likes
yeah,
to,
very.
make sure he's heard. It's very touchy-feely. We saw that at Clemson. We saw it with Miami, a little
Miami,
bit in
yeah.
Las Vegas. You think that fits with Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. and AJ Terrell?
Nah,
No. I get it. You want energy, but there's other ways to
definitely.
bring energy,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't feel like the Falcons are that right now. So for me, guys, don't sign Wilkins. Let Dorless see the field. Let Zach Harrison see the field. Morgan Fox, who you sign, even David Onyemata, who's on his last deal. You
Mm,
didn't cut him for a reason. He needs to go play. Put him on the field. And then you have guys on the fringe. TQ, who knows Raheem a lot,
right.
right? You have, what's his name? Contavious Street,
Contavia Street. Yeah.
right? You want to get younger. And Christian's still young. I'm not saying he's an older guy, but he's got a serious foot injury, and I just don't think he fits the culture in Atlanta now. What Raheem is building, right? Imagine think of Jalen Ramsey, right? Because that's the
Hmm.
type of person that Raheem would want on his team, right? We were linked
Hmm.
to him before he was traded to Pittsburgh and all that. Would those two mix well?
Probably not.
No. The answer is no,
No.
in my opinion, right? They just the personalities would clash because Christian feels one way, and then you have Jalen who's all serious and I want to win football. And then I think it would just be too much of a clash when you're trying to reestablish yourself as a defensive team,
Mm.
right? So that's
Oh,
my opinion.
here's one thing I do want to point out,
Mm-hmm.
right? The textile front that it's been talked about a lot with Jeff Ulbrich and stuff like that. And
Uh-huh.
the attack style defense requires your defensive line to be on all fours per se, right? Both hands on the ground. And I look back at many years of this Falcons defense and teams of the past. The front four, how it's stacked now, reminds me a lot of Jim Morris Falcons from 2006 and their version of an attack style defense. All those guys played with that same structure, two hands in the dirt. Bill Johnson was the defensive line coach at the time. Obviously, Nate Ali for us now. So while there's a lot of fans that may feel that the run defense might take a step back because of that attack style, it might take you out of certain it might take you out of certain run integrities and things like that. I don't think so. I think we have the slashy players that can get skinny between the gaps and actually affect kind of how we saw it in 2006 with Jim Moore and his front four and how the way they attacked and how they played defense is just very reminiscent of that right now. In that year, Daryl Shropshire was there, Patrick Kearney was there. Uh, uh, man, and you know what? Right, a young Jonathan Babineau
I was gonna say
who could
Jonathan Babineau was just entering the league.
actually be who Brandon Dorless could be that type of guy for us this year. Rook can be that Daryl Shropshire style a defensive lineman for the Falcons. Of course, neither guy was as flashy, but what they did consistently was get the job done and be at their point of attacks for the Falcons team. Everything else will come. As they get more mature in the league and they understand what they have to do, the ins and outs. But I was looking at that, I'm like, this is interesting because I feel like Atlanta can have a highly ranked run defense based off on how they are going to use their alignments and stuff.
Guys, and to Berto's point, I agree. When you get up the field and you beat your guy in your gap, whether it's A, B, or C, and depending on the run play per se, if it's an inside outside zone, you're affecting that running back and his timing. It's the same thing as a pass rush with a quarterback, right? They have a certain time in their head, they make a cut and they go. But if you have two guys, or even one guy that's affecting a gap that he thought was going to be open, well, now that's allowing other guys to follow suit and beat their man, get through their gap, and you rally and you tackle and attack per se. And if it's a pass play, even better. We're winning in the run with pass rush.
Yeah,
and that's what Jeff Ulbrich has been saying. Like, that's how we're going to win, because if it's not a run, hey, guess what? We're still pass rushing. We're getting up the front. We're getting up the field. Man, you know what's funny is literally me and my wife were going to finish quarterbacks a couple nights ago. And, you know, she was doing her thing. And I was like, man, let me just YouTube Falcons. And you know what came up? NFC Championship game 05. And I said, screw it. Let's watch it. And I was watching those guys get up the field. And they really were affecting the Eagles' offense early on. And it was fun to watch. So for you to say that, it's like, that was fresh on my mind too. It's like, that's a really good point. And, you know, it makes sense why they signed Morgan Fox. Smaller defensive tackle, but he's a speedy guy, active with his hands. He's going to win some stuff. That's why they draft, you know, Rook. Now he's in the – that's what you need Rook to do, right? He's a raw guy, but he's athletic enough and quick enough and twitchy enough to where he can beat his man.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff, man. That's awesome. It just gives you a jolt of energy and just like, you know, just a sense of optimism. This Falcons team is talented, man. And we get it if we get clicking at the right time. This could be a dangerous team going forward, man.
Yeah. So some counterpoints to the Christian Wilkins comments that I had. I just feel like if he's healthy, he'd be the best interior pass rusher we've had in a long time. More vet presence on the defensive line as well after losing Grady. But yeah, it'd be probably a long shot and be cautious with the injury. And then same thing with Eric. I understand the culture fit may not be there, but Wilkins, hands down, would be the best player on that D-line by a mile, especially if their jobs are on the line. Why not sign Wilkins? Well, because you draft these guys, Rook, Brandon, who we were all clamoring for. Why is Brandon Dorless not seeing the field? And then you sign Wilkins. Well, now you're taking away snaps from him once again. What I get? Oh, my God. Hey, I got some Raisin Canes today. Okay, damn, oh, dude, can you smell it through the camera?
Oh, I had a country fried chicken sandwich with mac and cheese today. Phenomenal.
Where at?
Right there at training camp.
Oh, they had it there, like a food truck?
Oh yeah, they had like 4 or 5 food trucks there, man. Good stuff, man.
You had a sandwich.
I did.
And you know what? Today
fried chicken sandwich.
And today I had a steak. Ask me how.
Me too.
Berto. Did you really?
I had a ribeye. I had a ribeye today, man.
What was the temperature? What would you cook it at?
Well done.
Oh, Berto! We were on a good track. Oh no! Well, for those steak lovers, don't worry. I'm not that guy. Medium. And look who just dropped in out of your Falcon mind. Welcome, guys. It's been a long time. Welcome.
It's been a long time.
Look at what Bone says. To the point about Wilkins taking snaps away from the guys like Rook and Dorless, I agree in that. I want this team to eventually be able to draft and develop consistently. And that leads me to something Howie Roseman talked about when he got asked, why sign players early? Well, he pretty much summed it up. We want to draft, we want to develop, and then we want to sign, right? That's how you continue this revolving door of staying young, but also have veterans on your team that can show the young bucks how to do things. If you continue to sign vets from this team and that team and that team that aren't homegrown, when are your young guys that you draft actually going to take the snaps? You know? What do you think, Berto?
You kind of cut off there, so it's StreamYarding.
Oh my God! Well, look, where did I start? Okay, to Bowen's point, right? Howie Roseman. Okay, he talked about why he signs players early, right? Why some like the Bengals taking forever to sign Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart and then you have Micah Parsons with the whole Dallas Cowboys situation. And then they asked him, like, well, how are you able to do it? Why are you able to do it? Well, he talks about, it's a cultural thing. You want to draft and you want to develop and then you want to sign. And if players know that, right, they want to be that team on that team lifelong, right? They want to
Yeah.
retire on that
Mhm.
team. So when you keep poaching, these free agents or these guys that were just cut, the guys that are drafted, it's like, well, what the hell? What was
Yeah.
I drafted for if I'm not going to get an opportunity? Right?
Yeah.
You want to dissolve that mold. And I think that's what Raheem's been trying to do, especially last year, with the rookies. Like, why draft these rookies if you're not going to give them opportunity? Well, he knew he had these vets on these, short-term deals. Let's get through
Hmm.
these short-term deals. Let's bring the rookies up to speed. And now we're getting younger. And you
Yeah.
said it, right? You saw the defense. They were fast.
Did
They
fast
were moving
physical. Yeah.
around.
And
And that's
length.
what
A
we've
lot
been
of length on this defense.
And that's what we've been asking for. I
Hmm.
get the whole Christian Wilkins hype. The foot injury, I don't want that. And I don't want someone that's going to, it's going to poach snaps. We've been clamoring. Zach Harrison, Brandon Dorless, all these guys. And then all of a sudden
Yeah.
we bring in Christian Wilkins. Like,
Yeah, so you kind of stump the growth, the snaps you take away from those and stuff like that. So I get the point, right? I think it's just bringing a guy like that, like to Kerry's point, right? It would be one of the better interior defensive linemen that we've had in a while, pass rush wise for a defensive tackle. But we got to give time to our guys to mature into those roles and eventually make do with the reasons why we took these guys like Brandon, Zach Harrison, Brook and stuff like that. So we got to let them mature within the system to build that culture that Raheem wants overall. You want to start trotting out product, that's homegrown, so to say, versus poach, like you mentioned, from other clubs and stuff like that. So, overall, I do get it, and I like that strategy. It's exactly what we should be doing. Homegrown talent is better than anything, man.
and I'm not saying don't ever go sign free agents. But when you
Oh.
sign these guys that like on these 1 year deals, 2 year deals, that maybe aren't these superstars, right? It'd be different if you
Hmm.
like Daniil Hunter got cut, and then I was like, go get him,
Go
right?
get that.
Go
All right.
get that guy, right? No, it's not. Yeah, I get it. Christian Wilkins, it's enticing, but honestly, I think he goes back to Miami because that defense is
They need it.
terrible. That
Hmm.
defense is terrible. But Berto,
Mm.
anything else to add Falcons wise? Because I got some other questions that aren't really Falcons related.
Gotcha. No, for the most part, man, it was a overall great sight to see the team finally hit the ground running. Football is officially back. Good to see the guys, just going out there and trying to make the best out of their opportunity. The only unfortunate thing was that Kobe Bryant wasn't able to showcase his talent. Heavily favored Falcon already, and we're all clamoring for him to make the 53. So we're waiting on him to see what he shows later on in camp. But overall, it was just a very spirited first day for Falcons minicamp.
Absolutely. And then Lisa Shepard, thank you for sharing.
Mm.
Kyle Pitts will be on Nightcap tonight. So be interested to see
Ooh,
what Ocho Cinco and Unc Shannon Sharp ask him tonight. So if you're interested and you got the time, go check it out.
yeah, they come with the questions too, so it
They
should be
do,
good.
they do, and it's more of a laid back situation. So it'll be interesting to see what he says. But Berto, now for the juicy questions. You're from the Northeast.
Mm.
You're down in Atlanta. You drove down. How
Yeah.
much worse is Atlanta traffic than the Northeast? Tell the
Oh,
people.
brother, it comes number one. Atlanta traffic is a different animal. Like I'm used to, if I'm traveling from Rhode Island, north of Rhode Island, I'm hitting Boston traffic, right? It's annoying. It's because it's so compact. It's
Mhm.
so congested. It's 3 or 4 lanes. You go to New York, if I'm driving south of Providence, it's much more fast paced. They're assholes and they don't know how to drive. And it's just too crazy. And New York traffic does also get congested because so many people are trying to go to different boroughs. But then you got Atlanta, and that's just stagnant ass traffic in 5 lanes. And it doesn't matter where you go, there is traffic in every lane that you go. It is horrendous, but it just feels right. For me, it feels right because Atlanta is my preferred city to be in.
Really, really. That makes sense. Falcons fan. You're there. How long has it been since you've been to Atlanta?
So the last time I came to Atlanta was for the content creator meetup in 2023. So it's been about two years or so.
Wow. Last time I was
Yeah.
in Atlanta, I wasn't really in the content creation space. It was
Mm,
in 21.
21. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry. I take that back. 2022 was the last time. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Are you going to the meetup?
Yes, tomorrow, as soon as practice is oh, I'm sorry, Saturday. As soon as practice is over, yes, I'll be going into the Diesel Tap to meet up with some of the guys over there.
Berto, the Diesel Tap. Tell me what that is. Do you know? Is it like a bar? Is it a restaurant? Like, do you know what it
I
is?
I don't know exactly what it is. Let me see.
Now, if it's a bar, does Berto have a beverage of choice?
Corona.
Mi hermano. Ya sabía, por eso somos hermanos. Aquí en Reporting Eligible.
I'm
Corona or
trying to look up.
Modelo, man? Modelo
Oh, I
time.
could go Modelo time. Modelo's fire too, man.
It is.
Um,
It is. Please drink
Tap Diesel
responsibly.
House. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. It could be a bar slash sports bar. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't really ask too many questions. I'm just gonna show up and
Okay.
show out, brother. Yeah, just have fun. Just
And
have a good time.
good. I'm glad. And we're approaching that hour mark. Pacifico, Eric, I think has fallen off.
Yeah, it's
Personally,
falling off.
personally,
Yeah.
it doesn't hit the same. Just my point of view.
I don't mind a Stella.
You know what? I haven't really drank those to give my opinion on that. So
Yeah, don't mind it. If you like Heineken, um, it's bit lighter than a Heineken.
okay, all right. I'm gonna have to try it. We'll see.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But we're approaching the hour mark. For those of you that don't know, Berto was the second person in line to get into training camp at 4 a.m. This is the type of commitment my compadre has. He has been
Yes, sir.
nonstop. If you can't tell, he has no voice because he was
Oof.
hyping up the crowd alongside the players. He was front and center in the Instagram post, front and
Yeah,
center on the Facebook post. He's everywhere.
it's crazy,
So
man.
for
Crazy bird.
Berto,
Yes, sir. Of
and everyone that went and interacted, I just want to say
hmm
thank you.
Yeah, of
Thank you for being there, and thank you for
course,
taking the
man.
time. Berto's ready to hit the sack. He's ready to
I'm
go
done.
to sleep.
I'm done.
He's ready to go to sleep. But Berto, before we get out of
Yes,
here, let the people know where they can find you.
of course, man. You can find me at training camp on Saturday. I'll be there at 3 in the
There
morning.
you go.
Sharp. Sharp. I'll be there waiting for everybody. But no, 95 North Falcons talk show on YouTube. We're currently on a break on the Bleacher Report side, but we will be resuming all content effective August 4th. So look for a lot more short form content from myself on the Bleacher Report app as their exclusive Falcons content creator. And I'll be back for Sunday post game reaction shows and all reaction shows, post game as the Falcons begin their postseason. What is the game one against the Titans, if I'm not mistaken, right?
You mean the
Uh,
preseason? You said postseason.
Preseason. Yeah, I'm sorry, preseason. I'm
I was
already
like,
thinking
yeah,
ahead.
we're on the road to the
Yeah,
postseason. Yeah, I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah, that, and I'm tired as hell being up since like 3 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, nonetheless, those are the platforms you can find me on.
Awesome. And for me, guys, you already know Dirty Bird Central on YouTube. If you like short form content or long form, that's where you can catch it. Or short form, just period. If you're a TikTok junkie, that's where you can find me. And then at BK2 on Twitter, because I am still dragging my feet on changing that name. Busy life. What can you do? Sue me. I don't know. And then Bones just wants to say, well done on Berto on getting us
Oh,
the info today.
thank you. No problem, man.
So
My pleasure.
for me and for Berto, my co-host and reporting eligible, we'll see you guys next time. Be on the lookout. Berto will be there on Saturday. So if you don't
Yes,
have
sir.
noties turned on for him on Twitter, turn them on because he'll have the info. But until next time,
Um,
guys, peace.